I think this assignment is going to end up being due Wednesday. And class on Wednesday, I'm going to make the call right now, is going to be on Zoom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover it now. I will then put this video up on YouTube so you can look at it. I will be here Wednesday during class and during lab to answer any questions if you have any. If you guys get it done beforehand, turn it in, everything will be fine. All right. All right. That being said, let's get started with what we're doing. Okay, for the game, it's a simple tic-tac-toe game. The board is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, and just so you guys know, I apparently came down with some kind of bug. I'm thinking it's a stomach thing, but due to university protocol, I need to get through 2 negative COVID tests before I'm allowed back on campus. So that's kind of why things are happening. And then I have a certain number of days that I have to wait. So hence, that's why things are doing that here on Wednesday. So anyway, the board is a tic-tac-toe board. The way the person is going to play the game, and you can tell them that, is they will select a number. So if they wanted square 5, they would hit 5 and hit enter, and it's going to take that square. If you have any questions through this, just jump in, because I'm not monitoring, the text messages. So you're just gonna have to jump in. Okay, in the computer's memory, we're using a double subscripted array to represent the board. We will display the board as X, O's, or the number. And the computer is going to make the first selection for the game. So far, pretty simple. For this assignment, it will not play a game. It will not play a game. It is simply going to fill the board. Okay, so all it's going to do, the computer will make a random move. Okay, check to see if it's a tie game. It will be tied when all the blocks are filled. To make that happen, we're going to use, I would suggest using a counter. Okay, so count however many moves you have. First move, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. The ninth move, oh wait, that's going to be the computer's move. It's a tie. Would ask the human to make a move, validate the move, and then go back. All right, so this is what the board looks like to the computer. Okay. We're going to make an empty board zeros. Human will be 1. The computer will be a -1. We had already talked about that, so pretty simple. And we are using these down here. So row 0 and column 0 are not being used at the moment. We're going to use some of these when we check for winners, but we're not doing that yet. Okay, so when we go to display this board, that's going to be in the method display. Okay, so you're all going to write a method called display. Anytime you want to do the board, you call that method. We're also going to have to give that method the values in the array. So we have to pass those variables to this method. We'll review that here in a minute. Okay, so Does everyone understand? I want you to write a method. So you have your CLS and you're going to write a method to display the board. Now, some of you already have done that. Others simply displayed the board as part of the menu. I was fine with that either way. First thing we have to do is, how can we find what row and what column we want to put something in? So for example, if I take 1, okay, if the human takes 1, or the computer for that matter, because we have to do the same for both. If 1 is selected, how do we know that is row 1, column 1? Well, you have the formula right over here. I'm giving you the formula. Now, how you have to figure that out is, basically write down the numbers. 1, 2, 3 is a group. That would be all of row 1. 4, 5, 6 is row 2. 7, 8, 9 is row 3. And we have to come up with a formula. Well, the formula is going to be n minus 1 divided by 3. Now we're doing integer division here, right? So n minus 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0 divided by 3 is still 0. Okay, if we did 2 minus 1, that's 1 divided by 3, that's still 0 in integer division. 3 minus 1 is 2, divided by 3 is still 0 for integer division. When we go to 4, hopefully you can see it's going to be 4 minus 1, that's 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, plus 1 is 2. So we're going to use the integer division, and that will tell us what row we're in. What we need is to figure out what column we're going to be in. Now, for the first one, if we take 1, we're in column 1. So 1, 4, and 7 are going to be all column 1. Okay. The formula for that is going to be a remainder. We're going to take n minus 1, where n is the number that we're generating. So for example, if we wanted number 4, okay, the column for that is going to be 4 minus 1, okay, which is 3. Remainder division by 3 plus 1 is still 1, because we have 0 remainder. Okay. That same formula is going to work. Well, if we take 5, it's going to be 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. Remainder division of 4 with 3 is 1, plus 1 is 2, and so on. So those are the formulas that you're going to use for this. Are there any questions on the formulas? You're making this real easy, guys. Okay, the computer will be marked as a -1 and displayed as an X. We're going to put all of those items in the display method. The human will be 1 and display an O. If the element is 0, it's going to actually display the number. Everyone understand how that's going to work? Okay, now take a look. This is basically what your display method will look like. And you don't have to worry about taking a picture or anything. I'm going to put the video up. And if you need to see this, you can always stop at that point and look at it. Okay. That display, if this is a void, this is a void, so it's not doing anything. It's going to do something. It's not going to return any values, but it is accepting our array T, which is a double subscripted array. We're going to have for I equals 1 to 9 being increased. So what we're going to do is we're going to say row equals I. So remember, I is simply the number that we have. 1 is square 1, 2 is square 2, and so on. So if it's 1, we're calculating the row and column. And then we are simply going to print that number. Now, the problem is that's going to print all the way across the screen. And then we're into nothingness. Okay. So we have to check this. If remainder division is 0, so if we have no remainder, we want to be knocked down to the next level, knocked down to the next row. That's what will do that. Now, that's basically how your display method is going to look. Now, I'm going to anticipate your question, and your question is probably something along the lines, well, how do we know if it's an X or an O or the number? You need to put that after you do the calculation for row and column. You're going to have right in here, you're going to have an if statement. If T sub row sub column equals -1, you're going to have this display, but you're going to display an X. Next if statement. And these are not if then else statements, if statement. Next one, if T sub row sub column equals 1, this, except you're going to print an O instead of an I. If T sub row sub column equals 0, then you're going to print this guy. And that's how that's going to work. That's how your display is going to work. Very simple. Okay, so here's a flow diagram of how this program should work, how option 1 should work. You are going to have 3 do loops. 3 do loops. Okay. One is for the game. So you hit option 1, you're going to come out here, and this is option 1. So this do, you're playing the game. So whatever you're calling it, I don't care if you call it game flag, human flag, and computer flag. That's fine. You can make them Boolean. That's fine. You can make them numbers. I don't really care. Okay. Inside this loop, you're going to come out, and this is where the computer is going to generate its move. So right now, all it's going to do is randomly generate a number between 1 and 9. Randomly generate a number between 1 and 9. It will then check to see if that is taken. Okay, so if it displays, if it picks 1, it checks to see if T sub 1 sub 1 is equal to 0. Okay, if it's equal to 0, great, take it, mark it, you're done. If it's a -1 or 1, it can't take it. It has to redo this. So what you're going to do here is you're simply going to generate a number between 1 and 9. If T sub whatever that is, so you're going to have to do the row and column calculations. If that equals 0, then you're going to mark T sub row sub column equal to -1. set the computer flag to false and break. That's going to put you right down here. Right down here, you're going to check to see if it's a tie game. To check for a tie game, you're going to count how many moves. So depending if you count before or after you make the move will depend if this is going to be checking for an even or an odd. But that's easy enough for you to figure out. Depends on where you're increasing this counter. If the number of squares taken is equal to 9, it's a tie game. So right at this point, you would say, I have no idea how that happened, but you battled me to a draw or some such thing. Okay, make it sound decent. Yeah, it'd just be interesting. That's where you're going to put that, and press enter to return to the menu. When they do, don't forget to set game flag to false, because you're going to do that. You're going to break. That break is going to get you out of this do loop. This is going to be false. You're going to drop down, go back to the menu, and allow to play the game again. Or quit, whichever. If that is not true, okay, so goes down, it's not a tie game. Now we go to the human play. All we're doing for the human's easy. Actually, the human's really easy, because all we're doing is say, pick a move. Okay, so what you're going to do in here is a human is going to pick a move. It has to be between 1 and 9. Okay? Don't forget to error trap it. If they hit a P or W or Q or Z, they don't get to make that move. You're going to have to tell them something. Sorry, that's an invalid move. And have them do it again. So you're simply going to do that. Now, if they put something in, 1, you will have to check to see if 1 is open. So if T sub whatever that row and column is, in this case, 1 sub 1 is equal to 0, great. Fill it with a 1, break, and move on. Okay, so game starts. Computer makes a move, checks. What else does it have to do? It has to display the board here. Makes a move, displays a board, asks the human for a move, validates that move, displays the board, or could be up here, wherever you want to put it, and you continue until 9 moves have been made. That makes sense? I will tell you, it's a whole lot harder doing this on Zoom than when I can look at your faces and see if you're understanding. I'm hoping you're understanding. All right. Any questions? Okay. I'm not even going to worry about the partial listing of variables, because you can use whatever. Here's a quick review of passing variables between a method. Okay, when you create the method, obviously it's named. For us, it's going to be display. We're going to take the integer double subscripted array of T. Okay, so all of the other stuff is in here. This is how it comes in. When you call it, you simply say display and you give it T. You simply say, if T is your array, you say T. If Sam is your array, you would say Sam. Okay, whatever it is. Please don't forget to initialize variables inside your method. Remember, variables are destroyed when you return from the method. So don't forget to do that. So if you're using row and column, which you're going to, make sure you initialize those there. They will be different than the ones in your program, even if they're called the same. And don't forget the formulas. I would have to be the number that you are looking for. Okay, so in this assignment, you'll hit option 1. Don't forget to set all flags. And I would suggest setting the board to all zeros in the menu. Set it in the menu, or you could set it like right before your do loop in the in option 1. That would work also. If you set, because you're going to need to set your flags, set your variables, you know, in your array. Yeah. Then what you'll do, and I actually have a mistake here. I can see it here. I have set the arrays to all zeros, call the method to display the board. Actually, the computer will generate its move and then display the board. So it would display how the current board is, and I've taken square 1. And this is just showing 0 is an open spot, -1 is an X, 1 is an O. Then you'd ask the player to make their move. And it's really not going to do anything other than just wait for this. So the human is easy. Okay, the assignment. The computer will make a random move. Check for a tie game. All squares filled. If so, it's going to tell the user that it's a tie game. We're going to leave that in the program because that's, if it is a tie game, which theoretically, if you play tic-tac-toe correct, that's the best you can hope for, is a tie game. Ask the human to make a move, validate that it's an okay move to take, and then go back. Are there any questions? No questions. Okay, then. I'm going to say this is due Wednesday. It'll be due Wednesday evening, but I would work on it now. It'll take me a little while to get this video uploaded, but we'll go from there. Any questions? Wednesday on Zoom here. I'll be here for questions. The assignment is due till Wednesday evening, but try to get it in sooner. That way I'll give you a chance if something's not right. And I do apologize for not actually being there. All right, anything? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, you guys have a good day. You're out of here 20 minutes early. Work on your program. And I will see you Wednesday.